Hi, my name is Ayat and I'm working at the Sterling Law firm. For today's video, we will be discussing and walking through common mistakes applicants make in their global talent applications. I will be discussing 4 main categories: overestimating your expertise, presentation, thirdly, preparation, and lastly, formatting. Moving on to the first category, not being completely realistic with your level of expertise. So the global talent visa or application, unlike a skilled worker, requires candidates to prove a crucial element of being an innovative leader. You may be an actress, you may be a website developer. However, I cannot list, the list is endless, the amount of individuals in the same profession as you. So an important question you have to ponder on and you have to ask yourself and prepare to answer is, what makes you different? What sets you aside from the rest that holds the same profession that can establish that you are an innovative leader? So the key terminologies here are 2 terms. There's innovation and there's leader. Innovation entails that you need to prove to endorsing bodies that you are creative, that you've come up with ideas, that you take initiative to think outside the box, to bring something new to the table of your field. And whether that has the potential to further impact your field. When it comes to a leader, it's quite straightforward. Do you have influence on people? Have you held a position where you are influential? Did you lead a seminar? Did you mentor a group? Have you been put in a position of responsibility that others of the same profession didn't get the chance to? So a common issue and challenge that we face a lot with global talent applicants is that sometimes there's an overestimation of your level of expertise. So it is a requirement, a personal requirement, you may say, for yourself to sit back and have a look at everything you present on the table. Allow yourself to be honest as to whether you strongly believe that you are an innovative leader or a promising innovative leader. Now, moving on to the second category, we will be discussing presentation. A lot of times, global talent applicants or candidates solely focus on their education, on the work experience that they have shown in their CV. And although this is required and it is a good thing, endorsing bodies want to look beyond the surface of just your CV. What else have you done? How else can you present yourself that you are not strictly an employee, that you are not strictly a representation of the company you work for, but a representation of yourself? Failure to thoroughly present and in a way convince global talent endorsing bodies that you are more than what is shown on a CV. You are more than what is on surface, on face value, if you might say. This may potentially lead to refusal because what is coming across is that you're alike to every other professional. And as mentioned prior, you need to set yourself apart. So presentation is key in showing, in how you are portraying, how your skills are coming across, especially results. So endorsing bodies they really love to see actual results. And results, however, they prefer it to be calculated results. So for example, you're a website developer and you've helped so-and-so company take their website from nothing to something. That's great. That is a great line in your personal statement or in your supporting documents. However, what will make that a selling line is that you must include the statistics, the actual metrics to what you're saying. So back that sentence up with, I've helped this company out with their website. I took it from A to B, and in 2 months, we saw a 80% increase on user interactions. By putting numbers, you're actually adding the value to your contribution, which is very important to endorsing bodies when they see whether you are innovative, whether you've really contributed, or are you just simply doing a 9-to-5 job? Additionally, we have also encountered a lot of candidates that you can say in a way are a bit too humble. When applying for a global talent visa, you really need to put your strong foot forward and really showcase everything you've done. Refrain from holding back, even if it's the smallest experience that it may seem insignificant to you, may still be a contributing fact. So when it comes to presentation, it's not only how you're putting the numbers in, how you're showing what you did in work, but it's every other little detail you've done in the past. Have you helped a high school team? Have you stepped in and mentored? Have you published articles? All these other little things, even if some of them may seem insignificant, will all be added to the value of your application. Now moving on to the third category, failure to thoroughly prepare. I'm sure you've heard this countless times in your lifetime. You've heard it in school, you've heard it at work. Preparation is what leads to success. And that is very important in this situation as well. If you don't do your homework, you won't know what to meet. So your first step in preparation is you've now identified that you might be a competitive talent. That's great. Now identify what endorsing body do you think your talent falls under. The endorsing bodies have made it quite clear on what each of them specializes in. For example, Arts Council of England, as you may have guessed, focuses on arts, music, theater, literature. They're all on the artsy side. Tech Nation, again, it gives it in the name, tech. So when you identify what your talent is, identify which body, because the application process, you will need to get endorsed by one of these bodies. And these bodies have released guides. They do give requirements and they state out what they look for, who can apply, the professions, the requirements, supporting evidence. They will discuss it all there. So part of your homework, find your endorsing body and find your requirements. Because most of the time, they will tell you what the mandatory requirement is and what is optional requirement. Optional requirement, say for Tech Nation, they'll give you 5 optional. It's mandatory you pick 2. So when you work your way through, you can size up and see, do you meet these requirements? Furthermore, when you have identified what your talent is and you've identified your endorsing body, you will also, as I mentioned, identify their rules, which is very important as to whether you are eligible or not. If you take, for example, actors, actresses, television, film, all these professions will be assessed by PACT. The endorsing body is called PACT, and they have made it clear on their website that there is no exceptional promise, only exceptional talent, which is at a higher threshold. So before even venturing into applications, filling out, gathering documents, you can identify from the get-go whether you'll make the cut or not. As I mentioned previously, endorsing bodies want to see beyond your CV. They want to see what have you done outside your employment. Who are you as a person separated from the company you work for? The different endorsing bodies have stipulated in their requirements the amount of documents or evidence you must present or submit. If we take, for example, here Tech Nation. Tech Nation requires 3 recommendation letters followed by 10 supporting documents. If an endorsing body allows up to 10 supporting documents, we would highly advise you meet 10 supporting documents. Because as we've seen in the past case on a refusal from Tech Nation on different grounds, however, they did make a point of having insufficient evidence. If you provide 5 instead of 10, you're cutting your chances by 50%. Furthermore, when it comes to the type of documents, how you're going to evidence, all these endorsing body guides will specify what kind of documents they accept and what they recommend for you to submit. For example, it's been mentioned in a previous refusal of an application that the applicant lacked a public profile. Public profile entails a media presence. So part of your work here when it comes to the preparation, the presentation, it all comes in link here to do your homework and prepare this. Because you might not at the current moment be eligible. You may have the CV, you may have the credentials, the education, but all these little supporting things that you can build within the next couple months is something worth looking into prior to that application. Furthermore, another thing you must prepare when it comes to recommendation letter. Endorsing bodies want a recommendation letter from someone who is high ranked with established importance in your field. So if it's tech, then you're looking at CEOs of tech companies, directors, people of already established status in your field. These are the ones that you're going to need to see how you're going to be able to approach them to have them write you a recommendation letter. Your previous manager or your colleague, it will not be sufficient. Now moving on to the last category that we will discuss today, formatting. It may seem insignificant or not that important. However, formatting is your first impression. Is the first thing they will see on a piece of paper is obviously how you formatted it. And when it comes to personal statements, recommendation letters, these endorsing bodies will look at your document and they will just try to spot the key trigger words, you may say, such as innovative, leader, as I've emphasized, influential, creative, one-of-a-kind ideas, certain words or adjectives that triggers that you are different from somebody else in your profession. Another one that is a very simple but overlooked mistake when it comes to actual formatting of the letter. So have you dated the letters, the recommendation letters? Have you put the correct names on the bottom? Has the person who recommended you, did they sign off their full name? Have they signed the paper? All these little overlooked mistakes can contribute to a refusal. There has been a case in the past where it was mentioned that the letters were not dated, so they weren't certain when these letters were coming from. Because some endorsing bodies will kind of request, oh, they want one from a current employer, they want one from before. This is how they keep track. So to wrap up, I've mentioned a couple categories of common mistake. It is not the extensive list. However, these are the main mistakes that applicants are making, which namely 1, overestimating your expertise, 2, your lack in presentation, 3, lack in preparation, 4, formatting. So to conclude, the global talent as a very lucrative route has much higher standards and requirements than any other route. For example, the skilled worker visa or anything else that's more clear cut. And because of that, it is highly, highly competitive because it's almost like the same thing as you're applying to a job. You're coming in with every other candidate saying that they're good too. If you have any further questions, clarifications, you want an initial assessment, please do not hesitate to contact myself or the Sterling Law team. And we are more than ready and able to assist in any questions you may have. Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you found this video very informative. If you like it, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Thank you.